Right, hey up. Welcome to this video. In here I've got a brand new for 2023 multi-fuel stove, which is the Fire Maple Lava. I'm going to do a quick unboxing and I'm going to boil some water for coffee, make bacon and eggs, do some comparisons and see if this thing actually works, because there's been some mixed reviews, shall we say, on YouTube. So I've got some gas with me and some refined petroleum or white gas. So let's go. Despite this being a first impressions, my experience is based on years of using remote canister stoves and canister top gas stoves like this. I used the Whisperlight International for a good 20 years, and coming up soon I'm going to be comparing it to the Soto Stormbreaker, which looks to be absolutely the bee's knees. And keep watching, because in this video I'm going to be showing you a really interesting steel screw together knife, fork, spoon and chopstick set. And of course, standing guard, we've got one fluffy honey dog. A very quick look at the outside. Your mobile kitchen, Fire Maple. Multiple fuel options, high power and high thermal efficiency. This stove is made of various components: stainless steel, aluminium, alloy, copper, probably some brass. This is the dimensions here. It's quoted to be a very powerful stove, producing 3 kilowatts or over 10,000 BTUs, British thermal units, thank you very much. And it feels like a fairly hefty package. This says 501 grams, which I take it includes the fuel bottle. And this is a list of components that's inside. Right, we've got a nylon bag and a set of instructions, and in the multi-language instructions we've got a list of components included and their weights. We've got the stove and tool components, we've got the pump components and the gas stand and some of the tool components. That's for the multi-fuel really, mostly, and then at the bottom how to use the gas canister. We've got a fuel bottle that weighs 137 grams. We've got a pump for the liquid fuel, and here the stove itself with the attachment point wrapped up, and this feels beautiful quality and pretty beefy. This whole thing actually weighs 364 grams. Now this is quite a sizable package and is going to be double what a typical remote gas canister stove is, and something approaching 3 to 4 times what a canister top stove, which I would expect to be around 80 grams. So fairly beefy, but of course this isn't meant as a lightweight backpacking stove. It's meant as a versatile multi-fuel stove for group robust cooking really, or for heavy winter use. What else have we got in here? And in this little zip compartment inside we've got a repair kit, and this has some grease, O-ring, some O-rings for the pump. It looks like another O-ring, a spring and some extra jets. Now, unlike some other stoves, this isn't a single jet stove, but it's felt that when you have one jet for all, attractive as it sounds, that doesn't give optimum performance. The Optimus Polaris is one that comes to mind, but it's felt that actually changing the jet will give you better fuel performance, and it's probably not that much of a hardship. And then finally in here we have the stand for the gas that enables it to go into liquid fuel mode, so a stand so you can invert the gas canister. I'll show you that later. And then a tool with a spanner on the end, inside a pricker for the jet. So to unfold the stove, these legs just slot round, and there's a stop all the way at the end there. There's a stop there. The gas control takes off. I'm going to take off the compliance label there because I think these are just dangerous. They just get in the way. This is a nice flexible hose, but I've noticed there's a couple of sharp bits of braided wire sticking out there, and I keep catching my fingers on it, so not ideal. Now I think this is just an on-off, and this is a Lindell type valve, and this is a pressure regulator as well. And you know I'm a great fan of these because they enable you to get good performance in cold weather, and this one fitting will fit the pump for the liquid gasoline or petrol or white gas, as well as the gas canister. And this is a nice long on-off controller here. So let's get it fitted and sparked up. I'm really grateful to Fire Maple for sending me this stove. I'm just a small YouTuber, but obviously they respect my opinion and I'm humbled by that. So a couple of notes about the stove itself. It's got a brass distributor ring here, and it's fairly easy to disassemble. You just unscrew this, and this is a muffler or noise reduction device, and at the bottom there is the jet, and in here is the preheat device. So when this gets hot, it'll enable the fuel to become gas, either from actually feeding it with propane, butane gas, or from a liquid fuel. Something that does concern me a little bit is not how easy it is to access to change the burner, and that's actually the 3.2 nozzle in there for gas. It's if you have a blockage, it's the fact that you would have to disassemble this to enable you to clear that blockage or give it a prick. So I would suggest that you might want to do that if you're using petroleum, gas type fuels that are prone to clogging. You actually kind of give that a prick before you start, because you'd have to wait for some time for it to cool. So that's reassembled there. Give it a light. So let's switch this one on, and then this one on, and spark it up. Good. A couple of things to note at first. So this is running really quietly there, and there's going to be very good wind protection from this, because obviously the gas is coming out of all the burner holes down here. Let's try turning this down. And that goes on to a lovely low simmer. If I'm blowing that, it's barely affecting the flame, and that's from the top. From the side, there's very little change. So let's get this water on and make some coffee, because I'm gagging. So we've got 500 millilitres of water here. Let's crank that up. And start the stopwatch. So the stand just clips on there to enable you to invert the canister, and you could actually use a pretty big canister with this. I think with a small canister like this, just the flat base of the fuel regulator is enough, but with that big stand there, that's really quite stable there. Right, it's coming to a boil at 4 minutes 3 seconds. To be honest, not the fastest time ever. It's hard to know though how much this is doing because it's so quiet, which is good. So I'm going to spoon the coffee out and make my food with the cutlery set. So it comes in this little metal tin, fairly heavy thing, so you might want to consider which parts you're going to take. It's got a silicone liner for quietness, and each tool is in 3 parts. So for instance with the knife here, you would screw it together like that. Oops, wrong end. Screw it together like that, and you've got a robust tool. And this is perhaps a good alternative to the long handled sporks that we all like to use, and it includes a cute little chopstick rest and another little block that you could rest your knife and fork on. So I'm just going to build the spoon now, but yeah, it's a cute thing, and I'm going to be trying it when I'm backpacking, and perhaps just, as I always carry a separate knife anyway, just take the fork and spoon. And this is in here is the end for the chopsticks. So you only get 2 base pieces, so you can only fully assemble 2 tools at once, but perhaps that's all you need to do really. While I was drinking my coffee, that's given this time to cool down. I'm going to change the jet. And the idea is you can use the tool here as a bit of a leverage spanner, so that just locks on there. Give that little push and away we go. Oh, I love the smell of white gas in the morning. Now, to try and avoid any problems, I've placed a little bit of the included silicone grease on there, and also the pump is very easy to disassemble, and on the rubber gasket inside there I've also placed a little bit of silicone grease, and you'll see that there's a little fuel filter on the end there, so we'll just tuck that in there. Now I've given that about 40 pumps, which was very easy to do, and just till I felt some resistance. Fire maple don't specify how many you do, and what's quite nice is it comes with this Lindell valve, which is the same for using a gas canister. So Fire Maple specify a 2-stage lighting sequence here. Before you disconnect the liquid fuel, you would make sure both are off, and then you turn that one fully on. That's just a quick turn, and then you turn this one on for 3 to 5 seconds. Turn that off. Right, I don't know why I'm not getting any liquid coming through here to the burner at all, so I'm just going to have a little look here, see if I've done anything wrong. Tried a few times there to get that to feed through. I've reassembled this, I've checked the instructions, I believe I'm doing everything right, and there's still no fuel coming through there. So I'm going to put the gas back on and cook my bacon sandwich. So I'll have another look later on what possibly I could be doing wrong here, but we know that this part is all working because the gas is coming through, but this pump somehow isn't releasing liquid fuel. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. There was certainly gas pressure in there, because when I've released that, it's all hissed and squirted fuel onto my hands, so there is. Right, what I'd failed to do was heed my own lesson. As soon as I've pricked the jet there, fuel's come squeezing out, so we'll give it another go. Both off, same procedure again, plenty of pressure in there. Turn that on now. Once more, not getting any gas coming out, any flame there. What's going on? Got that on, I've got that on, it was squirting out before, can't figure it out. So let's take that off. Yeah, there is liquid coming out, but then immediately it stopped again. So it just started and then immediately stopped, and it's just gone to a little dribble. So I've re-pricked that, and there's loads of fuel gushing out for a second, and then it just stops. If I pump again, nothing doing, it's just stopping again. Don't know what's going on there. So in order to get some lunch cooked, I've gone back to gas mode, and now there's not even any gas coming out of there, nothing at all. So I'm a little bit surprised and sad really. The other fine maple products that I've looked at have been absolutely excellent, but I couldn't get this working in white gas mode despite carefully following the instructions. A little bit of liquid would come out and then it would stop again, and now it's not working even in just plain gas mode, which it was working before. I've got that switched on, and there's just nothing coming through there. There's plenty of gas in the canister. What I elected to do at home later is to completely disassemble it according to Fine Maple's Troubleshooter, grease all the appropriate O-rings. I changed the spring in the pump assembly, cleaned all the components and reassembled it. And the only way I could get something of a unsatisfactory burn with liquid fuel, Coleman fuel, was by actually loosening the spreader burner. So I don't know, it was a very exasperating time. If you tighten that all the way down. So Fine Maple recommend this preheating for 60 seconds. A few more pumps there to make sure we've got enough pressure. I'm still awaiting for a response from Fine Maple, and I'm sure I'll be getting a good one and these problems will be resolved. But in the meantime, back to the summary. So I guess I'll just have to pack up, walk home out of the woods here and go and cook my lunch at home. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Fine Maple do make some excellent products, but the lava at the moment on this first unboxing and first burn is a miss. It would represent great value for money if it actually worked, but as it is, no.